Welcome to Member Code Radio!
Oh!
Wait, what? I'm sorry, I had a spaz attack.
Okay.
We've been gone for a while. This is your fault. Audience at home.
Yep.
Should have asked for
Not enough subscriptions for us to make videos.
If you would like, comment, and subscribe like we said.
I will say though, I've been taking all the subscribers. The subscribers on my gaming channel like tripled the other day.
You all
That's
just
true.
subscribe to Final Fantasy 14 shit.
Them League of Legends videos though.
Yeah, that was a fun one, and I did the bad idea of posting it to Reddit. Ended up being good, but typically a bad idea to post your stuff on Reddit. Kind of a scary place, very critical of people.
Reddit can go one way or the other very easily.
Yeah, they were mostly nice, but I got a huge amount of dislikes for the hard work
new
they put in.
audiences.
But that's fun.
This is
I don't care.
Max. This is John.
Hey.
Hey, everyone.
And this is Eric. And now we'll talk about.
We're the guests on the show.
We're not real.
We're a rip off of Continue, except we're funny.
I'm a figment of Michael Jordan's imagination. What's up?
Cool.
Yeah.
So we were talking about, right before we started the episode,
Yes.
we were talking about
I spit on you.
No, don't worry about it.
methods of playing retro games that aren't the actual hardware.
Recording them as well.
This thing I saw for 130, and I cannot think of the name. It was like a 6-in-1 device that came out like this year, and it's like
And it's
100
not the Retron 5.
It's not the Retron 5. It's like a competitor.
If it's
And
6-in-1, I'm gonna say
It's
Retron
like
6.
6 or 9 because it also does Famicom and Super Famicom as well.
How much did you say?
Retron
it
5 does that.
It was 130, but it does GBA
That's
and
cool.
all Game Boy games actually.
5 does that
GBA and well, maybe it is.
It might be in that,
It-
because I don't know of anything else that does all
But
that. other
it
than
was
that.
like, I just remember what was famous for is the difference was, well, the other one scaled everything native. This would upscale everything, give you the options of like emulator stuff, but it runs off your game.
Right. It's
Yeah.
emulators that's activated by your game and they're upscaled.
Yes, but it's not a
I think
ROM.
you're
It's
thinking of
playing natively off your game.
Okay.
But it'll make everything HD and pretty, and they'll do some artifacting and fix it up. And clean it.
You could, there's a lot of things out there that do this, but from what you're saying, that basically describes the Retron 5. And what I don't like about that, and the FC Twin, and like a lot of these other machines that are made, they all seem to grip the cartridges really tight. And if you ever use one, it's like, it feels like you're pulling something that's not supposed to come out when you're trying to get your cartridge out. Like you really have to pull it, and that scares the shit out of me because that feels like it's going to wear down your cartridges. So for that reason alone, really, I don't use them because I tried a couple of these things and they all seem to do that.
It scares me.
Yeah, it's because the machines are going to be around forever because there's always going to be somebody making machines that plays these games. But the games are not going to be manufactured anymore.
Yeah, if you,
know
put
what I
something
mean?
like Earthbound in that would
So I
be
mean,
a
if
risk.
you're shortening the lifespan of a game that is no longer being manufactured, I just don't think it's worth it. I say get the hardware that you need, get the real hardware. That's how I feel about it. I'm a purist.
I hear you.
That's fair.
I guess for GBA stuff would be like the appeal. Mainly, I'd love to play Mother 3 on the screen, and even then, it would have to depend on lag. That's a word because that's a rhythm technically.
True.
Like you got.
And you can always get a Superboy. I think that's what it's called.
What's a Superboy?
It's
That's the cartridge for SNES, right?
Yeah,
Where you
yeah.
plug in Game Boy games.
Oh,
yeah. And that still, I mean,
That works for people.
That's the official way to do it. But I never tried the Retron 5. I don't know if it still has that gripping issue or not. So
If anyone would like to buy us a Retron 5 to try it out, call me.
for the purposes of recording them and getting them online, I could see that really simplifying things.
Yeah, it would be
So, I
simple
mean,
if you bought it for us.
If it's like a copy of Sonic 2 or something, and you have like 3 copies, and you can get another one for $2, I don't know worry about
It's
it.
harder, especially in 2015. This is kind of funny, but it's actually harder to record the old consoles as opposed to HDMI. I have an Elgato, and I have to do quite a bit to capture a retro console. Like I tried to do it with my N64, and the way the Elgato works is that there's an in and an out. On the in, you would normally plug in HDMI, and then on the out is HDMI to your monitor that you're going to watch it with. There's no delay really, and then there's also in the out a USB that goes to your computer to capture the footage just going through this little Elgato box, right? But with an analog signal console, the message just gets just screwed up in the box, and it doesn't really show up on the screen. It does get captured. I mean, if you could play a game blind without looking, then you could do it. But I'm gonna have to get a powered splitter. I mean, $20, whatever. But still,
Is that what that is? Whenever you're watching a video and like the sprites are missing, and you're like, what?
So that's interlacing.
Yeah, that's it.
That's you mean like if like somebody gets hit and then the
Someone
character
gets hit
disappears
and
and
then
that really should be flickering?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
because
they
of
play
interlacing.
perfectly, and then I'm like, what?
That's when you
I see that more in emulation, I think.
yeah.
When it's just complete like objects that are gone or they look flat or
I feel
something.
like we've gotten past that point in emulation. I haven't seen it.
I don't know. I don't do a lot of
Except in-
emulation.
I see it a lot in
Not
N64.
that I do that.
I see it in N64. If you go home and download the first Super Smash Brothers emulator, the items will fuck up a little bit. They get like intensely skinny and you can barely tell what they are. It's kind of weird.
How do they make emulate? Do they take like? Are they somehow extracting data from the actual game to make an emulation, like to make a ROM?
I have no idea.
Or are they like
So,
recreating the whole game from scratch somehow?
It's kind of like
how do they
it's
do
not
that?
they're recreating the game. You can rip the file
Right.
from the thing, but when it comes to the
How do you do that though? It's like
well, there is a process. I think there's a device that they have that will do that for you. I remember when Mother 1 was discovered, because there was a Mother 1 copy, or Earthbound 0, you know, there was like one of a kind, and the collector got it and immediately ripped the hell out of it so everyone could play it. Because it was official translation, they just never released that game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a really interesting story behind that. But, because they were just like, screw it, let's just go straight to the SNES one.
Yeah.
So you can rip that. I think what an emulator mainly does, it is kind of like trying to run a Windows 98 thing on your new thing. It's trying to, like the name suggests, it's emulating a device. It is trying to figure out the coding or the iOS or whatever that it used to retrieve the information. But now we're at the point where we're so far, because we've been doing it for so long, that we can just make things look better. So you can like let's say you emulate a GameCube game right now.
Dolphin, baby.
Dolphin. You can upscale that shit to 1080p and make it look way nicer. And that's because we're at that point where, yeah, you can get the game to run. But now we don't want to stop working on it.
We can go in there and fuck with
Let's
it.
go farther and see how much nicer we can get these games to look.
And speaking on Dolphin, I think we need to mention that that developer that killed herself the other day. That sucks.
I'd rather not, but you know what?
I feel like I want to acknowledge it.
You know what? We will.
Sure.
I'm just going to say this.
It's a damn shame.
Gamergate stuff aside, I just don't fucking be mean to people.
Yep.
Like, really.
Did
Like,
you hear about it, by the way?
There was
I
a
didn't know.
transgendered girl who worked on Dolphin. Was told to jump off a bridge, and she did it.
Oh.
Because it was, like, too much. And she worked on the Dolphin emulator. She was 23. She was way too young.
Well, you know, there was probably more going on there than just internet hate, because everyone gets internet hate.
harassment, though.
I'm not saying
It's
it's
not-
excusable. The internet hate needs to stop, but obviously, I mean,
No.
she had some other stuff going on.
I'm not saying she didn't
must
have other stuff, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna. All hate is bad. That's really what it comes down to.
Oh, absolutely.
It just just love everyone. That's all it takes.
I think one thing that struck me about the whole situation, I saw the screen caps of the conversations. I think it was on her Ask FM.
Yeah.
She was weirdly calm about it. She's like, "No, I'm going to do it." Everyone's like, "You're not going to do it. You tried before and it didn't work." She's like, "No, it's
Wow.
I know why I'm going to do it now. It's fine. I'll just do it."
And you know,
And she did it.
I feel like I feel like 80 or 90% of negative nonsense on the internet is just fucking kids just talking out of their ass, and they barely even mean what they say. You know?
I get that, but when these things become groups.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to turn this whole podcast into a super serious thing, but
Right.
like it's the Gamergate movement a little bit. Like when you have people that are loud, it attracts other loud people, and then they will, you know, like
And you have a shit
voices come together. I mean, remember when Oculus was bought by Facebook and there were death threats given to the people at Facebook? It's
Right.
like, you know, like I'm sure these are people that are kids that are dumb. But somebody might take it too far, and it doesn't change the fact that there's no way that should ever be acceptable. And you know, and if you are in high school, I'm not saying I necessarily believe in censorship, but we have an education problem if that is the case. It should never come to that.
Right.
You should be restricted before you're allowed to use the internet if you cannot handle it, and
Well,
if you're going to do that. And the fact that we're at this point, you know, says a lot about our society. But fuck it, video games. I don't want to get into it too deep, but like, you know, just. If you like our show, love everyone. That's all I want.
And on the bright side,
Yeah.
I feel like the internet community as a whole is leagues more mature than it was 10 years ago.
Yes.
I feel like I remember like some of my older videos on my YouTube channel. It was just straight up, you're gay, you're gay, you're gay, you're gay. And I mean, that still happens, but I don't know. I just feel like there's always kids on the internet. and there's always. But originally, it was just kids. You know,
Yeah.
parents didn't know what the hell they were doing. Grandparents obviously didn't know what the hell they were doing. It was just kids, and I feel like those kids, really us,
I don't disagree.
grew up, and a lot of us, and as we continue to grow up, I feel like the kids will always be saying shit. But I feel like the internet community as a whole is getting better, and we just need to, continue on our current trajectory. And I think, just as a whole, like a community. I mean, there's always idiots here and there, but I do feel like if you compare comment sections of stuff now, by and large, compared to what it was 10 years ago, I think we are getting better.
It's segregated is what it is. I mean, I kind of feel like those people might be on like 9gag and 4chan.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's less that they're not there, as in they're just in different places.
Right. I mean, they'll find their little corners where they're more comfortable.
Which is a better system.
But, yeah, and eventually,
that.
and over time, I think those corners get smaller and smaller, and they may reach a point where they plateau and they stop getting smaller. But I feel like they're already. I think we're starting to see marginalization of internet hate already.
I think within YouTube itself, within the confines of YouTube, we're not talking about Reddit, 4chan, whatever. Just in YouTube, I think the percentage of people who say terrible things to people who don't, it's a lot better than it was 10 years ago. Which I think it's what you're saying.
Yeah.
If you go to a video and you find someone that says homosexual or ableist slur, like gay or retard or something like that, there's always backlash in the comments. There's people who are like, dude, what the fuck's wrong with you? Don't say that. That never would have happened.
Yeah.
Everyone would be like, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I've noticed that too. There's people that will reply to someone's mean bullshit comment, say, "You're an idiot," don't talk like that, don't be like that. Why are you acting like that?
Social justice warrior.
I never saw that, like Max was saying, like 5-6 years ago even. Like I barely saw any of that. This is something that's really started in the past few years, and I think a lot of it's because a lot of our generation, the people that were kids when internet was a thing, and we figured out, AOL Instant Messenger, and we figured out MySpace, and we did all this shit for our parents. We were the internet community, and we're all essentially grown up now, and very few of us are dicks anymore.
Yep.
At least comparatively, I think it's getting better.
I don't like the concept that I'm an adult. That is a terrifying
I just
thought.
mean technically.
I have a cool example of growth in the internet community and just through people age and stuff. Mm-hmm. I consider Bo Burnham a very talented a musician, comic. He's very, very. He's thoughtful. He's mindful. He thinks before he speaks, yada yada yada. But go watch his Comedy Central Presents special from like when he was 18 years old. Oh my god, that thing is full of like gay jokes and rape jokes. It's bad.
Yeah.
And I never thought about it until I watched it recently. Like, holy shit. And no one cared then because it's just that's what the state of the internet was at the time.
Yeah, I mean, I
so
remember
no one cared. Everyone I thought it was hilarious.
That used to be the only type of thing I thought was funny. And now it's like one of the only things I don't think is funny.
John, have you been playing any new games?
Let's try this again. Yes.
Hey, John, have you been playing any new games?
Yeah. You know what? I'm about to beat Batman Arkham Origins.
How's that?
On the Wii U. And it's
I
all
didn't
right.
even know that was on the Wii U.
Yeah, it was one of the first Wii U games I got. And it's okay. I like it. You can tell that it's somebody else duplicating another developer's thing, but they're doing it really good. I was actually really reluctant about playing it because I love Rocksteady's thing so much. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's solid. I'm liking it. And right after that, I'm gonna dive into Bayonetta 2, and then I'm gonna buy Earthbound.
Cool.
And I'm gonna play some Earthbound. Maybe we could stream some Earthbound.
Yeah, honestly,
because I've never played it. So.
If we all could play Earthbound together, it'd be great. And I also highly recommend.
Could you sit there and watch someone else play it though, without going, "Oh God"?
We can figure it out.
I feel like you're such a pro at it. You know what I mean? It might bother you.
I will say this. I don't mind losing. What I think I mind is you skipping dialogue.
Okay, well, I wouldn't do that.
If you're the kind of guy that doesn't want to talk to NPCs, that would bother me way more than somebody who loses.
Okay,
because the beginning of that game is rough, and honestly, I do mean that. It is hard at the beginning, but it smooths out once you get a second party member. But if you're the kind of guy that just doesn't care about plot, and you're just going to skip all the really great dialogue in that game, that would be the thing. But
it's a story-driven game, isn't it?
It's not just story-driven, it's the weirdest sense of humor. Cool. What I'm in love with that game, okay, there'll be a dog inside a restaurant, right? And you'll talk to the dog, it'll go woof woof, and then at the bottom will say, "I've been possessed by the ghost of the game designer. Let me explain to you how items work." And then after that it'll be like, "Okay, the developer is leaving my body now. Woof woof."
That is
the kind of humor.
That's such a Japanese thing to do.
You will walk up to people and be like, "Hey, do you still wet your bed?" You know, like, they are crazy. This is the weirdest sense of humor in any video game you'll ever
We need to play this.
Yeah, we did.
I am in love with that game.
Cool.
And
We'll
it
play
is, and it is right up your alley, especially.
Thank
and
you.
Mother 3 is
Oh,
also.
I said thank you.
And Mother
Thank you. That is
3
in my.
Mother 3 is also great, but it's a little more traditional. Because
Mhm.
Mother 3 is more story driven, and Earthbound is more about just the experience, because you have no idea what the hell you're stepping in.
Cool.
Okay.
And it just keeps going in these weird. One minute you'll be fighting cavemen, and the next you'll be attracting zombies with a pie inside a circus tent.
Excellent.
And it just keeps going in all these weird directions. And weirdly, the story is good. And
Mhm.
you feel something at the end, and it is an ending that might choke you up.
In your fucking Ness.
Yeah, your name's Ness.
Yeah.
There is a character that's canon name is Pooh.
That's good.
That is their canon name.
I like it.
You can change it, but his
Why would you?
default name is Pooh.
Okay.
But
I would
my
maybe
favorite
change it to
thing,
poo poo. That's all.
My favorite thing is you can name your favorite food, because your mom will make whatever you like for food, and everybody usually calls it something offensive, like shit. So you'll be like, "Hey Ness, I made you some shit," and it's always funny.
I started up a game of Ocarina of Time the other day because I like that game, and I named my character Red.
How could you do this?
I don't know.
So what happens?
That was a reference to Pokemon, kind
Yeah.
of, the Pokemon Red. Anyway, so the game I got a game. It's not necessarily new to me, but I've never owned it until the other day. I got it on eBay. Pokemon Snap.
Ooh, okay.
Really cool. I love that game.
Game Grumps playing that lately?
Yeah. They kind of like
They dictate all our purchasing.
That's why I got Super Bonk.
They reinvigorated. I think that's a good way to explain it. My love for it, as I used to have it, and I enjoyed it. I never.
That's a game you should have.
I always rented it, and I just never had it. And it was like $12 on eBay, so I picked it up, and I played through most of it. I still need to beat it. It's really cool. It's
There's
interesting.
a sequel to it.
Is there?
There's none.
Oh, there should
And that's
be.
what bothers me.
Game
Because
Grumps
the
was
game was a
mentioning. I
hit.
think Pro Jared mentioned this, and this is a really, really interesting thought. It's literally the perfect game for the Wii U. For one, the time span between then and now is exactly perfect, because all the kids that were playing Pokemon Snap are now in their 20s, who with money that can buy games, right? There's that. Also, the Wii U is the exact perfect platform for a game where you fucking take pictures, because
it is.
you have a
could do the
gamepad
augmented-
with a gyroscope in it and take
Yeah.
pictures like that, and you have the Miiverse where you can share your pictures. Like it's exactly perfect. for the
Can you
console.
do like the augmented reality with the Wii U, like you can with the
Augmented
Vita?
reality?
Well, it's like when you have
can
like a
spin
character
it.
in your living room, and like you move the controller around.
You
and-
can't
and
do
it-
that,
Yeah.
but you do have 360-degree access. Like if I turn it like that, it'll work.
It's fucking crazy.
But it won't
Okay.
take your room. It's not going to do something crazy
Okay, well,
like
that's
that. But but yeah, we need more. I don't know why they never made it. It was successful financially. It was critically successful, and it's the only one that exists.
Here's how you know if a game was successful. In 20 years, is it still like $10 on eBay? Like, because there's a lot of them, then it's successful. That's how you can
A lot
tell.
of N64 games have held their value very well.
Yeah.
Especially if you look on eBay.
Mhm.
A lot of them. I sold Cruisin' USA, like a pretty generic racing game, for like $25.
I used to play this shit out of.
And that's pretty average actually. It goes for higher and lower than that, I guess. But like, I had $25 I sold that for. And that's a fucking like almost. It's probably over 10 years old now, I guess.
Did either of you ever play Iggy's Wrecking Balls?
No.
Weird game. You're like this sort of like reptile character that's in a ball, and it's a racing game where everyone else is in a ball.
I
and
did
they're characters,
play
and you
this.
just bounce. It's fucking
I
weird.
did play
That sounds
that.
really,
Very, very strange.
Very Nintendo-y.
I don't even remember it being that good, but it sticks out in my head, and I played it a lot when I was a
rented
kid.
it
What
once.
system is it on?
N64.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least. I mean, it might be on others. I don't know. But
Sounds like a good one for the Rumble Pack.
Remember Chameleon Twist?
No.
There were two games. They were platformers, but like the trick was you had this giant tongue and you could like lick to get to different places, and you could lick your enemies. So it'd be like, and then you control the tongue, and you would go and like grab someone or grab a ledge and go,
So like a platformer.
yeah.
Things we need to play.
And I
Ooh, and Socket for the Sega Genesis. I just discovered this. I sent you a video.
Oh yeah.
That looks fun as hell.
Oh, wow.
It's a Sonic clone, but you play this weird. I don't even know what the animal is. Is it like a duck or something? I don't know. But it looks like so much fun. We should stream that when I get it, because I'm gonna get that like soon.
We should play Choo Choo Rocket.
I have that.
You do?
Yeah.
We'll play.
I
it.
never
It's
played
weird.
it.
Yeah, I love it.
I tried it on my own.
It's so
and
dumb.
it was like yeah, I was like, I can't do this by myself. I gotta have friends to play this with. But I haven't really thought about it until you just now mentioned it.
Mouse
so
Frenzy.
We should do that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I barely even understand it. It's really hectic and it's really confusing and
it's fun.
It's Sonic Team, same people that made Sonic, made Choo Choo Rocket.
Rest in peace.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Choo Choo Rocket is that Dreamcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Also,
C-Man.
speaking of rest in peace, Silent Hill.
Oh yeah, that makes me sad.
Now we got to go back down into the down.
And they
KONAMI.
They took PT off of PlayStation, didn't they?
I still have it downloaded.
Yeah, don't delete it.
I'm
You'll
not.
be able to read
I
it.
know. I wanted to make sure I still had it on my hard drive, and
I still have Flappy Bird on my phone. I'm not taking it off.
Don't.
Never.
Man,
Sell it.
This
fun.
is like the biggest, most in-your-face casualty of the state of AAA games today, isn't it?
You know, Konami.
It's like the perfect example of what's wrong with the gaming community. This game should be made. Everyone wants it. The talent wants to make it, but some dickhead in an office somewhere.
No, we know
said
what
no.
happened. There was there is a YouTube channel that I like called Bunny Hop or something like that. Super Bunny Hop. Anyway, so he did an investigation, and he talked to people from Konami, and he has some interesting things. Apparently, there is officially a fallout between Kojima and the head of Konami.
Mm-hmm.
Konami's head doesn't want it to make video games anymore. They make a lot more money gambling and making all these gambling products, and he basically.
What kind of gambling products? Like
we're
PC
talking
games?
slot machines,
Like actual physical machines?
And like iOS as well, but like these very small things. And right now there's only 3 games that are profitable that they have, which is their soccer game, Metal Gear, and DDR.
Yeah.
And they have restructured, so they fired everyone. The reason he screwed over Kojima now is because they're months off from MGS5, so he knows that they won't say anything because they're so close to release.
They don't want to hurt their game.
They don't want to hurt the game because he's put his heart and soul in it.
Well, that fucking sucks. That really, really, like, genuinely upsets me because Silent Hill, those original 3 or 4 games were so good, and we were gonna approach that quality again. They weren't gonna be the same type of game because it's different people, but we were gonna be at that same level again.
I don't remember the last time I watched someone stream a game that watching the stream terrified me of someone else playing.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. That hasn't happened to me in a long time.
There is a silver lining to this story, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are many people that have left or are leaving when Kojima's gone from the production because they don't want to be there.
Leaving with him.
Yeah, they're doing a Jerry Maguire
Mm-hmm.
and be like, "Who's coming with me?" So they're probably going to make a new studio, and that means he's
that's
going
what
to be
he
able to
needs to
make
do.
new things.
I wonder if he'll be able to take his Fox engine because I know that's kind of his baby.
I don't know, but weirdly, I don't think I care as much. The engine is not what matters to me. It just I want to see him do other stuff because he's wanted to do it forever.
Yeah.
He's wanted to stop Metal Gear because he's been working on it for 20 years.
You could really tell in that PT trailer, like I could really see
He was excited.
I could see like the stretching of creative legs,
Enthusiasm. So imagine this guy, he can't go back to Metal Gear now.
Yeah.
He can make whatever he wants. It could be a visual novel, it could be a movie, it could be like a science fiction. Who knows?
It sucks it has to happen that way, but it is a good thing for him in the long run. And for gaming, I suppose.
Didn't he actually say, when it's like literally translated, he said something along the lines of like, I made PT so people would shit their pants. Didn't he say something like that?
Well, yeah,
he said he was making Silent Hill originally to piss himself, and now but he changed his mind.
Okay.
That was what the company wanted, and he's
Right.
like, no, I'm gonna go the full on shit your pants.
Right.
And
That's so great. It just that's such a real he said that.
You could tell Kojima worked on that game when the game crashed.
There's a lot of heart in that demo.
And has code show up, and I'm like, Kojima.
And then you think, oh no, I got to plug the controller into control port 2 now.
This is so Kojima.
Yeah, that was very Kojima.
But seriously, that guy, don't get me wrong, I'm excited for Metal Gear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so confused if I should buy it new or used. I think I'm gonna get it new as the final.
Why
Konami.
wouldn't you get it new?
Because you're supporting Konami, who took his name off it.
Kojima's getting some of it though too, I'm sure.
He's a contractor. He's now he's not getting paid for the game.
not
He's
getting
already
paid?
paid.
He's already okay.
He got paid the one-time salary. Whatever money this makes goes to Konami.
Well,
he doesn't make any.
I could understand the argument of getting it pre-owned then.
I know.
Because I guarantee you some bros are going to buy it and be like, what? This is way too hard. And they're going to trade it in 2 hours later. So
I would have, have waited and got a petition for his name on it. But here's the thing: the man on outside of Konami just says, "Please just get it. I put my heart and soul into this. This is the last thing I'm going to do with him." You know, like, ignore that shit for just this one game and then whatever. And I respect the hell out of that, and I will do that because I love that man.
I don't see why publishers like Konami need to choose like the mobile games over making AAA games. Can't you walk and chew gum at the same time?
Well, you do realize that Konami has screwed up every single franchise that isn't Metal Gear, right?
Yeah, but this isn't just Konami. This is like, I mean, Nintendo seems to be a good example. They're doing it right, I feel like. They're going to continue on their consoles and their handhelds, but they're also going to work with another company to make mobile stuff. Can't we do that? Like, can't you do both?
Here's the deal. I think what matters more is, do you care more about creativity or profit? Indie game designers are entirely creativity. They make literally what they want.
Right.
That is, you know.
And I can understand how they go hand in hand.
When you have something like an EA, the man upstairs really doesn't care if the game is well received or how much content is cut. They care purely about, hey, how much money can we get out of this?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, like, you'll get a Mortal Kombat with, like, all this DLC that obviously wasn't there.
Right.
If you think anyone creatively at NetherRealm said, hey, let's put in easy fatalities for $5, I don't think that was a creative decision. That was a decision probably by the higher ups.
Well,
they only care about profit.
The thing about now, I'm an enormous Mortal Kombat fan. I got Mortal Kombat X Day 1.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic game. I love it to death. And I really don't mind the easy fatality. What I mind is that Goro is on the fucking disc.
Oh,
He's on the disc. You're not buying Goro. You're buying a 200 kilobyte unlock file. That's what I don't fucking like. The easy fatality is optional. You can ignore it if you want. And I'm willing to kind of like, okay, I wish that wasn't there, but you know, they're leaving money on the table if they don't do it. I get that, whatever. They gotta make money, fine. But when you're taking things away that were in the game and then charging me extra for it, that's when I say fuck you. I'm probably not even gonna buy it.
I have a rule, and it works really well,
Mm-hmm.
which is whenever there's a microtransaction in a game, you can still buy the game. Never buy one.
Never.
Ever.
It's not worth
because
it.
when you do it, you are telling them, I don't mind.
Right.
That is what it means. When you know, that's why I'll never play a free-to-play game on my phone and pay money.
Well, the thing
unless I feel it earns it.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
League of Legends would be something. If you put money towards that, there's no guilt because you're buying a character.
Right.
Here's what I like about League of Legends. In League of Legends, there's over 100 characters you can choose from. It's getting huge. You know, Riot's making shit all the time. They're really on top of their shit lately. In that game, you can, if you want to, you can spend real money to unlock characters. Alternatively, you play games and get influence points, which are like it's the in-game currency to buy your runes and your characters and whatever the fuck else. So you don't have to spend a cent ever, and it's not pay to win. Pay to win is what I don't like. If there's a character that you literally just can't even touch that's in the game, unless you spend money, that's fucked up.
And I've changed my mind entirely. Granted, it was due to an MMO, but like, subscription model is fine with me now.
Yep.
Now that I realize what it is,
Right.
after getting my hands on it, free to play scares me way more than any of that. Because I'm still playing Final Fantasy. I'm gonna make that a note. You know, I've done all the content. I'm just waiting for expansion, but
Right.
I have fun. I've met some really good people. I want to talk about something related to that game,
Okay.
by the way. But what it is, I'm getting so many patches of content that, and when I say patches, it's basically DLC that I'm getting in a substantial amount of quality that I'm getting on a regular basis. On top of that, there's so much content in that game, I feel like the subscription more than justifies what I'm getting out of it.
Yeah.
Like even if you're doing some incredibly long goal and you've accomplished everything, you don't feel like your time's wasted. I'm having fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still having a blast with it, and I feel, like, I now understand the subscription model. I used to complain because I thought it was nickel and diming, but now, at least for this game, it's opened my eyes and said they use the money and make the game better, and that is fine with me. I'll prefer there's no restrictions.
Eric, we're recording, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It says stop right there.
Okay.
It
Alright,
says
I thought
34
it
minutes
said-
and 2 seconds.
Okay, I'm
No,
far
we're good.
away, so I didn't.
I think as far as microtransactions, if the thing I'm getting is fucking, if it's sort of like an extra peripheral sort of part of the game and it's fucking cool, awesome.
Mhm.
I bought a skin the other day on League of Legends. There's a character called Udyr. He's like this sort of like wilderness man. He's got this long brown beard. He talks with a low voice. He's real tough and he punches people and shit. He has 4 stances. He does his tiger stance, which is his crazy attack speed. He does the phoenix, which fire comes out, etc., etc., etc. He's a different animal for each of the stances. There's a skin that came out called Definitely Not Udyr, where each skin, instead of him turning into a tiger or a bird, it's just him wearing like a shitty tiger costume and a shitty bird costume and a shitty. And the turtle one is
That's worth it.
he's wearing a green hoodie with like a crappy like backpack. It's so funny.
So that's funny, yeah.
And it like makes the game better, and it changes nothing, and it's like mechanically, and it's great. And
That I can get
I
behind.
like didn't
Yeah.
mind spending $5 on it.
Oh,
It's great.
100%.
Oh, so fun. It's
Especially if the
great.
game is free to play.
Yeah.
But that's a catch. When I'm paying $60 for a game, fuck you, microtransactions. You made your money off me.
Sure.
Yeah.
$60, you've made it. Like, if you want to make a DLC, make it expansion. Do not, like, season passes are terrible. The paying for things that are on disc are terrible. And even reusable things, like as I say, the fatalities, it's terrible. I paid $60 for something that should
mean,
be a cheat code.
If you have bought an easy fatality, you're an idiot, first of all. Fatalities are not difficult.
It's irrelevant.
They're a maximum, they're like 4 directions and 1 button. I'm kind of wondering how you got to the end of a fight if you can't do that anyway.
Well, here's the
'Cause, I
thing.
mean,
well,
it's-
then you have
They're
things
already
like
easy.
unlocking the vault for $20, but then they patched it to make it slower, so reviewers got things unlocked way faster.
Yeah, you get coins slower.
And
Which
to
I don't
that,
mind. I don't mind that, I guess.
certainly mind that.
I mean,
Like, it's
just-
incentive to make you want to give them extra
it
money.
is. It is.
But guys,
it's a slippery slope.
I mean, I always hear you can unlock it in the game, but there's a fine line on that. I mean, free-to-play games, you theoretically can unlock something, but if it takes 12 hours to make a tiny bit of progress versus pay and then you've made 3 times,
Right.
yeah, you could do it, but it's obviously designed to encourage you not to and just give them more money. And I'm just I miss the day, just pay one fee. Pay one fee.
Buy the game,
Buy
get the game.
Be satisfied with the product, and then think DLC where it's, I have another thing I want to make.
Mm-hmm.
Not, I've planned this before the game came out. It is, I have a good idea for expansion. People really well received it. StarCraft 2 is recent, and I feel like that's a good example. StarCraft 2 was a full product.
Like early in
And
the
it
last.
took 2 years for that expansion to come out, and it was a full product.
Yep.
And that is perfect.
Has its own box.
Has its own box, it matters.
Heart of the Swarm.
The Evil Within's done a real good job. My game of the year for last year has done a good job with that. They have 2
I still need to
expansions.
borrow that.
They're both worth the money, and they're just they're smaller games within that universe for a smaller price. I'm fine with it. I like that. It wasn't on the disc when I bought it. It's new. They've made it since after the fact, and they're both good.
And episodic, I fucking love Life is Strange.
You like the episodic.
I really
format.
like Life is Strange. I really like the first season of Walking Dead. Some Telltale stuff's good. But here's the thing. I will always justify this for episodic. Episodics are cheaper games that you may pay, you may have to wait longer. It keeps your interest in it longer. You think about it longer. You play it longer, and I pay half the price.
It does kind of interestingly blend the feeling you get when you're watching a new show and you get hung up on a cliffhanger and you have to wait for the next episode. It mixes that with gaming, which is cool.
But it's built for an even longer time to discuss and think about it, because
Right.
so Life is Strange, I've had 6-week waits between episodes, which is fine because the 2 episodes that have been released, I love this game. Like even if it goes downhill from this point on, the first 2 episodes really grabbed me.
Right.
I've paid $25 for all of it. Episode 1, $5 is not much of an investment if you want to check it out, because you can just get the first episode because they let you do that. But even though I don't have most of the content, I'm actively excited for a thing that I bought, and it's not like a season pass. I'm just waiting for the majority of it to come, and it's a type of game that would never come out for $60. It's not the kind of game I would expect to ever see on disc. because it's not that kind of product.
Right.
But I love it.
It's
so good.
I'm more. I get that. I'm probably more, me personally, more partial to waiting until they're all out and buying them all at once, just because that's how I am. But I like that concept, though, and it's clearly not a ploy to make more money.
You're gonna Netflix the game.
Yeah, I'm gonna binge it. But I mean, it's like, it's not a way to dick with us. It's just a different way to do games, and I can appreciate that.
Well, even if you binge it, just at least give it a couple days to sink in.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully this is relevant, but we haven't got to Eric. Eric, have you been playing any new games? And is that
Yeah.
Oh.
Other than Life is Strange.
Yeah, we did these and then this one.
So I played this new game called Final Fantasy XIV.
How's that? Yeah.
You're still on that, man.
How you liking that game?
It's like the past 3 episodes. That's all you're playing.
I've been playing that since the beginning.
I mean, to be fair, every episode, the game that I play primarily is League of Legends.
So if it makes you feel, here's the thing: I'm broke. Nothing's come out. No, Bloodborne. Have we talked about Bloodborne?
We did in the Carsode.
Yes.
We did. Okay. Well, other than Bloodborne, which I still love massively, I finished it, and it's easily game of the year, unless like Metal Gear beats it right now. It's a game.
I'm thinking Metal Gear is probably gonna destroy.
Well, if nothing else, it's the game of the year that doesn't have a dirty history.
The game
KONAMI.
We're not giving
Kojima.
Konami Game of the Year. We're giving the game of the year. Well, we gotta wait and see what it is. But I'm confident. I'm pretty confident that game's gonna destroy everything.
2 out of 10. Here's something I learned from Final Fantasy XIV, and it relates to Gamergate.
Okay.
Gamergate,
search tag.
Yeah.
Yay!
I just wanted to sneak
Trigger
that
warning.
in. So I there's a guild in the game that I'm now in with people who I have made better friends.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And we voice chatted. You know how statistically it's like 49% of gamers are women, but you never think that because you never see them. You know, holy shit, they really are. They're just hidden. Because I learned, like, at least in this game, half my guild are women. And it's not that anyone makes a deal. It surprised me.
And I think that's good.
It's great.
Absolutely. My worry with that statistic was, they're probably, I mean, this isn't
iPhone.
I wouldn't
right?
say this is. Well, yeah, I was going to say I think a lot of it they count mobile games because mobile games are games. So I think they would count that. But I'm glad that even with that in the statistics that's still true in other games.
At least with this experience. But I think a lot of it has to do with it's text. And that, you know, that the voice chat we're going outside of the game to do. We're going on Ventrilo, which is like Skype, but you have to press a button.
I like Ventrilo.
Anyway, so we're on there, and that was the only way that was revealed.
Sure.
And you naturally assume everyone you talk to is a dude, just because.
Because heteronormative.
And they're never talking in your game, because every time a girl talks on the internet, someone hits on them or whatever.
Right.
It was refreshing to learn that, like, no, they really do. They're just hidden.
That's nice.
They're like little elves hidden in the corners of the forest.
But
like,
they're all over the forest.
They're all over the forest, but you never see them because they're scared of you.
They're mystical.
They're mystical, but they're there. You just gotta believe.
It's true. It's true. There's a voice. There's a Ventrilo-like program that is used, I think, primarily by League of Legends players. It's called Cursed Voice because it integrates itself with the game. You have a choice of, like, you know, opening up a room, and people that are on your team that happen to also have Cursed Voice on can get in it because it automatically knows, which is like really fucking cool.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of women that play the game. A lot of them. I have female friends that play the game quite a bit.
Just surprises
nice.
me. Like we all know some, but like just like the ratio, you know, it just surprised me.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It made me feel good.
It's cool.
I still love the game. Now there's really nothing to do until expansion, and honestly, I'm going to be late to the expansion because my fiance is going to be here in 2 weeks. So I won't be playing much video game. Well, that's not true. Witcher. Because we're both excited.
I need to get into Witcher 2 already.
Yeah.
I have it.
So play it.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I played, I think, through the tutorial, and my brain I was like, fuck, I'm putting this down. It's hard.
I get you.
I'm not good at I'm also not good at video games. That's the problem.
It ain't no Planescape. Like, I mean, it's not as tactical as something like Baldur's Gate.
I'm going to do the tutorial again. I have to. I don't feel confident enough in my.
Put it on easy. You can change the difficulty at any point.
Okay.
And then just feel comfortable with it, and then push it up when you feel fine.
Okay. I just I don't know. Sometimes I get down on myself if I have to go to easy.
No, listen.
Oh,
I
really
do.
I always do.
That game was built for the idea that someone starts with easy and then moves up.
Okay.
Normal is I have a feeling for the game. I get the mechanics now.
Okay.
I'm ready. Easy is like what they expect new players to do. Even if you played Witcher 1, they still expect you to start with easy.
That's good. I'm
tell
really
you
not
work
familiar
your
with
way
those kind of games. I mean, Skyrim, I think, was the only kind of like that kind of game I've played in a long time.
It's very, very different from Skyrim.
Yeah.
Skyrim is about walking into an area and being like, I don't know what the fuck to do. I'm just going to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then Witcher is more like, there is a story and a character, and I have a thing that I want to accomplish.
More
It
But there are
reminded me-
side quests.
It reminded me more of like Fable, actually.
It is similar to Fable.
The way that the story progresses, kind of thing. It's your characters, and there's cutscenes where your character has a personality and he says things, and your abilities are kind of similar-ish. I don't know. It's like it reminded me of Fable.
Fable might have been like a little loosely inspired by
Lost
Witcher.
Chapters was probably one of my favorite games of all time. It's really fun. I love it. It did the oh man, if I like a tear comes out if I hear like the song from Oakvale. It's like
I
Oh.
like Fable.
such a nice. Oh man,
I only liked the first one, but
Who did this?
That's the one I played.
who
PC.
did the soundtrack to that game? It was someone like famous. Who was
it? Trent Reznor.
It was gosh, it wasn't Hans Zimmer. It was
Trent Reznor. It's not Trent.
No,
Reznor.
James
I can't remember.
Horner?
I just like Trent Reznor.
who did
Isaac Newton Howard?
Who did Edward Scissorhands?
Danny Elfman.
Yes, it was Danny Elfman did the soundtrack
Oh.
for.
At least
did not know
Boingo.
that.
At least partly for.
Boingo,
The lead of
boingo.
Boingo Boingo.
Listen, if you
It's
haven't
nice.
heard it, go listen to the Oakvale theme from the first Fable. It's beautiful. It's so nice. Oh, I love it.
Speaking of which,
Freaking love it.
there is a song that
He's great.
In Final Fantasy XIV that is stolen from Danny Elfman. There's a song when you're
I
fighting
believe
the
it.
King Moogle. And,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and it is entirely a ripoff of a song from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Man, there's
Like, I'll
tons
play
of-
it for you after, but like, they could sue if they wanted to.
He's got more money than God. He doesn't need any more. He's all right.
I'm just saying, there's like one song that's like, it's such a ripoff of This Is Halloween. You will not hear it.
Danny Elfman is like he's one of those people that you hear his name like that he would make that music. His last name's Elfman. He would make like fantasy music. His last
He
name's
is like
Elfman.
really recognizable. I feel like his style.
Oh,
really,
absolutely.
see-
I love his music.
Yeah, yeah.
So much.
You ever see Forbidden Zone?
No.
Check out Forbidden Zone. That is the weirdest movie in the world. But he's in that, and he plays, I think, Satan. I think he's Satan.
Danny
And-
Elfman is acting in.
Oh, he sings in it.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, because
Cool.
this was his brother directed the movie.
Oh, okay.
And the movie is one of the weirdest films ever made. It's about
It's called what again?
Forbidden Zone.
Forbidden
Um,
Zone. Forbidden Zone.
It has like 40-year-olds playing as elementary children that get sucked inside another dimension.
Cool.
And it's very offensive, very
Great.
weird, and
How old is it?
It came out in the 70s. It was in black and
Oh,
white
wow.
when it came out
Okay.
because it was an independent film, and it's very funny, very very weird,
Hmm.
but it is
Like David Lynch weird?
I would say not the same style, but like you
That
wouldn't be
level?
far off.
Okay.
I mean, it's
We talking
it's got-
Eraserhead weird.
I feel like this
Razorhead's
is
so
this
good.
is more the idea
Yeah.
of a bunch of friends got together and just threw shit on a wall and whatever they thought was funny they put on screen.
Great. I
like
it just
that.
happened to be really strange in the way. Like you have a boy who lives with chickens, so he walks like that in his underwear.
That's Harry Potter, right? The boy who lived with chickens.
Yeah,
I don't know.
you know.
Potter.
Main character's name is Frenchie,
All right, Paul told me.
who's not French.
Potter.
There's like an 8-year-old playing a child. It's got an elementary classroom where there are pimps in the back for no reason.
Okay.
Actual
Yeah.
pimps.
Okay.
It's
good.
It's a good movie. I like
Sounds
it, but
good.
he does a version of Minnie the Moocher in that that's just amazing.
And he sings.
Oh,
in it?
cool.
Yeah, and he tap dances.
It's interesting because he's actually Jack Skellington's singing
I could
voice.
probably find it on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. The voice actor for Jack Skellington just does the speaking lines. Danny Elfman sings all the songs.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah.
he's
You'd never
a
would have
singer.
known. You'd never know by just listening to it. It goes together perfectly.
I have a
But it's-
realization. I have a realization like that I came to as an adult. You know how you've seen Oliver and Company, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
You know the dog that's why should I worry? That's Billy Joel, isn't it?
Yep.
It's
Yeah,
fucking Billy
yeah,
Joel.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Why should I? Yeah, I remember that song.
Yeah. Holy shit, it's Billy Joel.
Billy Joel did a couple tunes in that movie.
I think he's also just the voice of the dog too.
He's kind of like how Elton John did a bunch of the Lion King music.
That's right.
Songs
It's kind of like how
from
Billy
And
Joel approached that movie.
did Phil Collins do any Lion King?
He did Tarzan.
No, he did Tarzan.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
did.
yeah.
Yes.
and brought that movie up from 0 to like 6.
Don DeLuise, I think it was, or not Don. Who did?
I think it's okay.
Who's Winnie the Pooh? Who's
yeah,
the voice actor for Winnie the Pooh? This matters.
Oh,
You know who I'm talking about.
I've heard this before, but it's been like.
So
10
in
years.
Lion King.
oh bother! I can't remember.
So in Lion King, that guy,
bother!
the person who sang for the villain was sick and only did half the song, and then he did the other half, and he just perfectly matched his voice. And
That's
no one can
crazy.
tell.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I can't think of his name. He's Tigger and Winnie the Pooh, and he was in Splatterhouse.
He's an old dude.
He was in the video game
Jim Cummings?
Splatterhouse. Yes,
Jim Cummings.
Jim Cummings.
Because he did The Mask.
Yeah, that's
And he's
him.
Cat from Cat Dog.
Yeah.
One of the most amazing
I
things
like
to
Jim.
me.
A trillion other things.
One of the most amazing things to me in the voice acting world, or things that people do, is voice matching. That shit blows me away.
Yeah.
There was an interview I listened to. It was on the Hey Ash, What You Playing podcast, the Hopcast as they call it. They had Matthew Mercer on. Matthew Mercer is the voice of Leon, I think, in the later Resident Evil games.
Mhm.
Very, very talented dude. He's like, probably his, early 30s. He's got this like really cool hair. And he's
I always
like,
thought Leon was cool.
Matthew Mercer kind of like, he carries himself kind of like Leon. You know what I mean? He's like he's real cool looking, and he talks real smoothly and he's real quick to say things or whatever. But they were just fucking with him and having doing voices on the podcast because you have a voice actor on your show, make him say shit,
Oh yeah, of course.
So like, what's the craziest thing you've ever done? And they had him like, he's like, someone asked me to do like a gay Scottish gnome once. And they're like, what? And then he did it, and I was like, holy shit, that's a gay Scottish gnome. He's like, oh, that's very nice. I like your little pants there. Would you get them? Got a little bit later. It was really cool, and he did a voice match of Gandalf, and it was exactly spot on, and it blew my mind. It legitimately sounded like they played a clip of Ian McKellen.
When that's your
It fucked me up.
profession and you spend all your time voice acting,
Yeah.
it's amazing when that's your job.
Yes.
And you don't do anything but that. It's amazing what you can
I
accomplish.
can't think of his name. Who was the guy who was Joel from Last of Us and like the main character of every single video game ever made?
Troy Baker? Did
Yes,
he do that?
Troy
Okay.
Baker. So Troy Baker, I love that man. If you see him in interviews, he's probably one of the most fun people.
He's a cool guy.
But like
Yeah.
he was invited to GameSide. He also had a challenge, except his was that game I Am Bread. You
Yep.
had to be the bread as a.
I just started
bread
playing
champ.
that recently. I should have mentioned.
He did a voice work for that game.
For Iron Bread.
Not in the game. He did. They did a let's play, and he played as the bread, walking down when they played.
Have you played that game yet?
I have. I love it.
I want to.
It is weirdly frustrating. It's like you get a headache if you play it too long. It's
kind of
funny.
like Octodad.
Oh yeah, it's
A
I think
little
it's
bit.
way. I think it's way harder than Octodad.
It's harder,
honestly.
but I still have a like.
I love it. I still like Iron Bread.
I love it. It's different. Octodad is a game that is made for you to beat, and
Right.
I Am Bread is a game that is made for you to be frustrated that you can't.
Here's the cool thing about I Am Bread. I had low expectations for it because it sort of came in the wake of shitty, like, funny simulator games
Right,
after
right.
it was
Goat
totally
Simulator
beaten to
and all
death,
that
and who
shit.
gives a shit.
Yeah.
But I Am Bread is, I don't consider it I don't think of it as like a shitty simulator. It's just, you're just a piece of bread that navigates the play. It doesn't feel like that. It's its
It
own
just
game.
feels fun.
It's
Like,
cool. I like it, and it's.
Has a heart.
I'm glad that it kind of isn't like that then.
And there are different modes that really switch it up. There's 3 modes I think at the moment, or 4, I don't know. There's one where you're the normal bread, where you have you use the bumpers and triggers to control each corner of the bread, and the control sticks to decide where they go, etc., etc. Then there is destruction mode, where there's only 2. There's left trigger and right trigger, and you wear a baguette, and you can just fucking go around and smash shit, and you get more points for smashing it. It's really funny. And then
That
there's
sounds
a
even more
racing
fun.
mode where you're a bagel and you roll.
Oh my god.
It's cool.
How do you roll? How do you
Yeah.
control rolling?
I guess
like
you just. I guess you kind of alternate or something. I played it like once.
Okay.
I'm mostly in destruction right now. I
Yeah,
think I
I could-
played through. It's.
I feel like I'm more of a baguette guy. I'm gonna like that probably.
It's my favorite part. Of the
Okay.
game.
In real life, are you a baguette guy? Do you
I-
prefer that to the other two?
I am.
Well,
Yeah.
there you go.
I'll say there
Fine.
is a section
Phallic
of the
nature
game.
of it attracts me for some reason.
There's a section of the game, and I was inspired by this because I saw Vinny from Vinesauce playing it, and that guy is like, he's like the best, like guy to talk about a game while he's playing it kind of person. Like, I just love watching him play games. He was playing the destruction mode. There's a level in Iron Bread where there's a car in a driveway, and you're outside. There's like a barbecue and everything, and so the main goal, it's you get toasted or whatever, right? But to do that, you have to break into a car with a brick, and and turn the key and start the car, and then get on the hood and toast yourself in your time. It's
Wow.
just so funny. Like,
And
it's
there are
just
other ways
such
to
an
get
intricate
bonus
game.
points. Like if you just toast, that's not going to get you the you want to get like jam and butter
Yeah.
on it. But if you step in the dog do, that's going to lower your point.
Obviously.
And you have to start the level over again if you get too dirty. You have a dirty meter.
Yeah.
So Vinny was playing it, right, and he's like there's this amazing point in the game that I've come to myself playing it where he became self-aware of what was happening because you kind of get lost in it and you don't think it's weird anymore after a while, and then it snaps back to you. So he was like fucking like baguette dangling from a steering wheel, like pressing in the gas and the clutch. He's like, guys. He like stops playing. He's like, guys, I'm a baguette, and I'm trying to drive a car. Not only am I trying to drive a car as a piece of bread, but stick shift. And it was just like. He just like broke down. He's like, "What the fuck am I doing?" It's so funny.
I like it.
There was one other game I've played, and then we probably need to wrap up because we only got like 5 minutes. But
Okay.
I played it. I think it was called Stick Shift, actually.
Okay.
And this is what brought it up. It is a game where it is a man making love to a gay car.
Vinny played that too.
A
And
man
it's
making
hilarious.
love to what?
A gay car.
Okay, that's what I
And
thought
then
you
the
said.
cop pulls you over.
Yeah, stick shift.
Yeah.
There's another really
It's
similar
free.
game
It's
to
worth
you.
playing.
It's free?
Mhm.
Okay.
Watch Vinny from Vine's house play stick shift. It's
All right.
it's
We'll
funny. as fuck.
watch it after this.
Yeah, let's do that.
Another game that I don't think you guys may not have played this.
Okay.
Murdered Soul Suspect.
I've never even.
I'm
heard
aware of it. I know someone who actually worked on that game.
It's
Oh, cool.
really good. And I was afraid that I would be getting like a terrible heavy rain
Have
like
you played Ghost Trick?
uh-uh.
You need to play Ghost Trick.
Is it like that?
It's so much like it that you're going to call plagiarism.
It's more like people compare it to like a watered down Heavy Rain, but it really feels more like a slightly watered down LA Noire. Like you ever play LA Noire
Yeah.
when you're
Yeah.
investigating? It feels like that. Which is more
I wish that game was.
it's not necessarily better or worse than approaching it like Heavy Rain, but it's different, and I like it a lot. I'm really into that right now. Like I'm
Well-
going back and forth between that and Mortal Kombat right now.
If you like Phoenix Wright, you need to play Ghost Trick. Because
Okay.
Ghost Trick is the exact same plot as the game you're playing.
When did that come out?
It came out before. It was a DS
Oh.
game. And that's why Murdered is a little dicey.
Really?
'Cause it is,
I've never heard that.
It is plagiaristic. They stole the plot. They absolutely stole the plot, but without any of the charm. That
I like
Ghost
it.
Trick
I
has.
like it all right.
I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying
I'm only a couple hours in. I feel like I might
I
get
feel like
bored.
you need to play Ghost Trick.
Okay. Is there any way I can play that other than DS?
I think it's on iPhone.
I don't have iPhone.
Might be on Android.
Emulation it is.
Is it on Biphone?
Sure, emulation. It's a great little puzzle game with
Okay.
visual novel, and it's really fun, and it's got a really good story.
I'm kind of starting to get into like
But
mystery
it's-
games and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's got it's from the maker of Phoenix Wright, and it was like his one game that he's made other than Phoenix Wright, and I actually think it's better than any of the Phoenix Wright games. I love it.
I just had a
It's
quick
great.
genius thought. Are there emulators out there for Nintendo DS or 3DS where you can actually use a graphics tablet to do the touch screen
Yes.
part? Fuck yeah, I'm gonna figure that out.
That
then.
sounds
have
like
it
a
on-
no-brainer.
'Cause I have one. I have a drawing pad.
I have a tablet, and it well, I mean, it might be different than what you're saying.
I know
but
that-
I'm sure there's something.
I know that with Nintendo Wii emulators, you use your mouse instead of the.
Well, if you can calibrate like different actions for different controller buttons on PC games, I would imagine you'd be able to calibrate like the mouse for the for a drawing pad.
We gotta start wrapping.
Okay.
up.
Yeah, I gotta
Well, we love you.
Yeah,
I
that
don't.
was a good episode. We got a lot of shit in there.
We're still
Yeah,
in the
I know.
episode. What do you mean? You could ruin it right now.
It's still a good
That's
episode. It's not was yet.
I would
gotta
like
pee.
to thank our guests, John.
Who's that?
You're our guest.
Oh, I've been a guest on every episode, and I like
Is that
the
you?
streak I'm on.
Yeah, and this is your final episode.
good.
It's now just going to be Max.
Oh, okay.
Max.
Just Max.
That's gonna be the
Max.
theme song. Is gonna be Max.
Look at Max. He wears a shirt.
It's really more of a sweater.
Yeah. It's a fictional band.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter. I'll put the Twitter usernames up, and subscribe to the channel. The more support we get, the better we feel inside. And hit the button that looks like that.
If we get to 200 subscribers, I'll eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in private.
If you don't like, comment, and
I can
subscribe,
promise that.
we will cancel the show.
Bye.
So you better do that.
Bye.
You better do that.
Go sports.
Go sport.
Go sport. That's like what Mitt Romney would
Give me
say.
back my
He
pen,
enjoys
sir.
sport.
I don't know where I got
sport.
this from. The ski bar is funny, but go sport.
Did you guys see Sport the other day?
I sported once.
Did you see when player got a goal?